Hey everybody, so before we proceed with this video, I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that I did have a lot of issues while filming it. I had my screen cap software sort of cutting out and giving me a hard time with the type of hard drive that I'm using to sort of store all my footage on. And I also had some issues with some of the audio. So there are going to be parts of this reaction that aren't in the video. Luckily, I think I have footage from each track in there, but it is going to be kind of a very choppy edit of it, unfortunately. The beginning of the video is, I think, a little better off than the end of the video is. It's just one of those unfortunate things that I'm gonna have to do more research and kind of find more permanent solutions for. But I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a disclaimer because I value your time and I want you to go into this video with the right amount of expectations. But regardless, I had a blast listening to this album and I want you guys to know that first and foremost. So without further ado, let's go in, let's have a great time, let's jam out, and thank you guys for being here and thank you for your time. Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jacob Williams. I am a professional music producer and composer. So today we got a really fun listening experience ahead of us. You guys saw how much I loved reacting to Brat. I absolutely love that album. It was kind of unexpected. I didn't expect to like it so much, but I've been jamming it a lot between when I filmed that video and now. You guys have been very much highly requesting me going back into the Brat catalog and checking out the deluxe tracks, which I believe are on this. The next thing we're going to be listening to after that, because I think it's only three more songs after 365, and then we're also going to go into this remix album, which is Brat, and it's completely different but also still Brat. Love that. So I'm excited for this. I don't know what to expect. I'm already used to the songs on Brat being the same, like being just the way that I'm used to hearing them, and I'm also not sure how these new songs are gonna sound, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. I believe one of you mentioned, or maybe a couple of you mentioned, that 365 is supposed to lead in to either the deluxe tracks or the remixes. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna play the ending of 365 into the song after that, which is Hello Goodbye, just so we get the full effect, you know what I mean? Whole thing again. Let's go right here. I want to see how seamless this transition is.
I don't know what's going on most of the time. I'm out, not hello, don't even know.
I love that. So the melody is the same regardless of what lyric that Charlie is singing right there. We're going dun 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 dun. We're going up and down, up and down, up and down. Even if the lyrics aren't necessarily rhyming with one another very well, we're still doing the same melody. So it's effective. It's low key right now. We're going to see if the song blows up.
Felt a little fear and some anxiety lately, so suddenly I said goodbye before you came. I turned around and ran away.
Okay.
Hello, 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 hello. I said
Pausing because we have things to talk about. So I love that the vocal was singular, nothing else around it in terms of the same range or the same sort of like frequency spectrum. It was just the lead vocal. And then when it got to the next section, then we start getting our doubles panned right and left, but the middle vocal is still dead center in the middle of the mix. And on top of it, we get some more processing on the vocals for the hello, 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 which is a really repetitive but effective sort of catchy refrain leading into what's going to come next. Sense to sort of not anticipate what kind of beat's going to be next. I'm expecting house, but I'm also expecting just that weird like blown up future pop thing. It's kind of giving me Sympathy as a Knife vibes a little bit. We'll see.
goodbye before you came. I turned around and ran away. I felt too scared, I should have said hello, 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 hello.
I love that. So there's a synth that's happening in the background right there, and it's the same melody and the same rhythm as the thing that we heard in the beginning, but it's more processed, more layered. It's almost like the synthesizer that's being used has multiple oscillators enabled on it, and each one of those oscillators is either up an octave or below an octave. Think about like if there's a sound that you want to make, there has to be a source for that sound, right? You can't just like make sounds out of thin air. So what an oscillator is it's kind of like that core first sound. It's usually a sine wave, a square wave, a triangle wave. There's all kinds of them. And there's some people that even design oscillators for synthesizers. And let's see where it goes. We don't get a drop. It goes right into a breakdown. Is the way that Charlie sings Anxiety kind of a callback to Sympathy is a Knife? Because it almost has the same interval as Insecurity, which is, I think, the lyric that she sings in Sympathy is a Knife.
I
love that. The vocal top's great. The claps sound thicker. What were we listening to recently where I said something sounded like Yoshi's Island or it sounded like really 8-bit? Was that Magdalena Bay? Because I'm kind of hearing a little bit of that in here. I'm kind of hearing that whiny, whistly sort of synth thing as what's called a counter melody. So what a counter melody is let's say you already have the same melody going on in a song. So like the dun 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 sound that we've been hearing throughout the whole song played on different instruments. A counter melody is essentially a different melody being played at the same time. So think of it just like a secondary melody. That's really all it means. But it's a very effective strategy to keeping your song interesting as things progress. Still no drop. So instead of like a pop drop or instead of like a EDM club drop, we just get a bridge and then it leads back into the hook, which is actually kind of unique and different because normally we'd expect from Charlie, okay, it's going to drop at any point here. It's going to have some sort of EDM, some sort of dance influence, some sort of like club influence to the song. There's nothing. It's just back to lyrical content, which is quite different considering pretty much the entire album that it's on is based off of beats and drops. Snares. There's our drop. Had a very unique arrangement and it felt like Charlie was using this opportunity to kind of tease people as to what's like coming next, or was just using it to kind of shake up the vibe a little bit from 365. We still had a drop, we still had club energy, but the song was mostly hooks. Some of the best songs that I've ever heard, or some of the ones I've had to produce for people, have mostly like, instead of like, okay, this is my verse, this is my chorus, this is my bridge, it's just a bunch of hooks. It's just a bunch of catchy melodies to get into people's heads. And that's always fine too. That's a good strategy as well. Let's move on to track 17 here on the Deluxe. Guess. Ooh. This is giving me like old school electro house, fidget house kind of vibes, like Deadmau5 or really early like Zed's Dead, like when they weren't doing like dubstep stuff, like when they do more of their like house cuts with all the like weird quirky noises between the beats. That's what it's giving me.
Underwear, you wanna know what
interesting lyrical choice.
Going on down there? Is it pretty in pink or all see through? Is it showing off my brand new lower back tattoo? You wanna put them in your mouth, pull them all down south. You wanna turn this shit out, that's what I'm talking.
So it's a good thing this isn't lyricist or songwriter dissects or songwriter reacts. I really like the kind of squashed synths that are sort of bubbling back there. I also really like the way that everything's kind of just, it feels like it's hiding in the beat a little bit. Like it's like playing hide and seek with you a little bit. Like it's coming out and then it's just being like washed back.
Hide it, lick it, spit it, pull it to the side and get all up in it. Where I'm posted, might remix it, send it to the day, I think he's with it. Try it.
So kind of a cool thing, it sounds like the auto-tune is drifting on and off of Charlie's voice and only coming back on for certain parts. And it sounds like her voice is being doubled or tripled and being misaligned by a little bit. What this does is it kind of gives you the Kurt Cobain effect of making it sound like your voice is like being sung by two people at once, but it's just off by a little bit. It gives it a very nice stereo effect.
Wanna guess?
Okay, now we got sub bass.
Underwear, you wanna know?
Again, I think we talked about this on the Mag Bay reaction, or maybe it was on this album. either way, I love when songs wait to bring the bass in for like the more appropriate, more bigger part of the song. And that's kind of what happened here. The sub bass, a little low, like rolling noise. If you guys have a decent set of headphones or earbuds, you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. Just the low sort of frequencies. Sometimes it's harder to hear it on headphones that don't have a lot of bass. Like if you're just listening on like a flat gaming headset, or if you're listening on like a TV or something, sometimes it's hard to hear some of those lower frequencies, but there is a bass line in there. You'll hear it like at live shows. It's just a big like rumbly sound.
That's what I'm talking about. You wanna try it, ride it, lick it, spit it, pull it to the side and get all up in it. Round, post and might remix it. Send him to the day, yeah, I think he's with it.
Ooh, I like the...
Think he's with gas.
Why is it getting higher? That is absolutely face melting bass, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm stuck like this. Jokes aside, the main reason why that's really effective is because the bass itself is not just being squashed to all heck. So there's two layers there. You have the sub layer, which is the low rumbly frequency we were talking about before, and then you have the bass instrument on top of it, which is playing the exact same notes. It's being played the exact same way. The only difference is this higher one has those sub frequencies scooped out. That way they don't clash with the clean bass below it. Instead, this one up here has been EQ'd. So a lot of those like boxy sort of like ear hurty mid frequencies are kind of cut out. Almost kind of like it's being ran through a comb, but for sound frequencies. Like it's just been like polished up a little bit, you know? And that way it's more of like a refined sort of skeletal synth sound. What happens is a lot of distortion is being added to it. So a lot of either bit crusher or phase distortion, something to make it so that it has like a bit of a washed sound to it, but the distortion is only added to the high bass layer. And the reason why is because if you distort a sub bass, it'll lose that sort of creamy, smooth feeling that a sub is supposed to have when it shakes your speakers or your car stereo. So a lot of times what'll happen is producers will apply effects and distortion to the higher layer of the bass as opposed to both the high and the low for consistency. And it's really effective because as we heard right there, it's a very clean sound, but it absolutely was just melting my headphones. It felt like, but it's not just distorting the whole mix. I really liked the sort of bass play that song had. Very, very, very big club potential. Let's move on to the outro track of the deluxe version of Brat, Spring Breakers.
Hi, it's me, you're all in danger. Never getting busy cause I'm such a hater. Got my finger on the detonator. Crazy girl shit, gonna go spring breakers.
Okay, that's a cool sound that I didn't really expect to hear from CHARLI XCX. So this is like a... how do I explain this? So this is, I call them just like big stadium kicks or big like boomy drums. Most of you are probably familiar with it from Hollaback Girl, Gwen Stefani, like just very like big booming stereo drums. Wasn't expecting to hear that on here because CHARLI likes to pick drums that are a bit more clean, a bit more modern, but there's a modern twist on it. They have like a bit crushed, distorted compression going on with them where they're just big, larger than life, but if you listen, you'll just hear this tinny little like almost like they're just busting through your speakers, kind of like distortion type of thing. And it's like a really high frequency. You really have to listen for it, but that's what I'm hearing right there. It's just like this big boom, boom, but the booms are like, they have this like whiny distortion on them, which makes them sound different.
Every time I make it so outrageous, always gonna lose to people playing safer. 4, 3, 2, 1, see you later. Crazy girl shit, gonna go spring breakers. Gonna go spring breakers. Gonna go spring breakers.
I kind of love that the lead synth is like just begging to be at the front of the mix, but they're not letting it breathe. They might later based on what we know about CHARLI's music, but they're letting it just sort of like echo in the back, like in a filter, or just like it's being like choked like this or held up by the filter. It's like, no, we're not going to let you peek through the mix. And it sounds like there's a little bit of tremolo on it, or there's like some sort of high pass like distortion thing happening to it. Hard to tell. But either way, they're letting that sound just be buried under the bass line right now. I kind of like that piano too.
Vroom, 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 vroom in a big pink truck. February 10th and I'm gonna pull up. Hey, Staples Center, what the fuck is up? Yeah, I'm parked outside watching all the girls strut. Got the custom on, hit the worst dress list.
There it is.
You better not slide, not slip, not trip. Cause I poured a load of gasoline on the carpet. Lit a
Why is it not
cigarette,
coming
took a
back?
drag, then I just flicked it. Place went boom, boom,
There it
boom,
is.
boom, clap. And I just laughed when the bodies went splat. Yeah, I knew I'd end up with my hands behind my back.
I love when sounds just aren't that predictable. Like they want to happen. You're expecting them to happen on a certain beat, but it's only coming back when the artist really wants it to shine or when the artist really wants it to be there. Because I was expecting it. I was like, okay, so it's going to be on the 2nd. Okay, so it's going to be on the 4th. Okay, so... Oh, wait, there it is in the build-up. It's such a cool way to sort of leave listeners hanging, and that's exactly what's happening here. There's also really cool stuff happening with the vocals, but I wasn't really able to pay attention to it. I'm going to try to listen more to that as we keep going, but that synth was just super distracting. Very cool.
In a police car, blue and red sirens all flash, 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 flashlights and cameras everywhere. Now
it's
I'm on the
thin
news
now.
with the DUI stare. Who cares? Just put me on the platform, turn the microphone on. There's no one I want to thank out there. Yeah. Hi, it's me. You're all in danger. Never get invited because I'm such a hater. Got my
What
finger
is
on the
that?
detonator. Crazy girl shit, gonna go spring breakers.
We have another like face melting like bass synth. The groove on that is really nice. It's just going, it's taking the same like dun, 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 but it's crisp. It's just so saturated and so bit crushed.
Every time I make it so outrageous, always gonna listen to people playing safer. 4, 3, 2, 1, see you later. Crazy girl shit, gonna go spring breakers.
There it is.
Gonna go spring breakers. My speech on time, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that was a cool little bridge. It went very hyper pop for the bridge, which is funny because most of the song is just typical electro pop, dance pop, club, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have a whole lot of hyper in it. It has a lot of distortion, but I'm not really hearing any like sort of hyper characteristics of it. And then all of a sudden the bridge was like full on hyper, where everything's like sort of pulled back and squished and hyperly like just wide compression, lots of saturation. But the vocal was very clean, which was a nice contrast. Like we were talking about in the last video, contrast. You'll hear it everywhere if you catch it.
Hi, it's me, you're all in danger. Never getting
Now they're having that it's like that synth in the background was so mad about not being up at the front of the mix that it's screaming now. They're just,
because I'm such a hater. Got my feet gonna go spring breakers.
what is up with this face melting bass? I hope, because I think what we're going to be listening to next is the remix album. Yeah, what a nice little like bonus pocket of tracks. It's like they still had the Brat aesthetic, but they were different enough to where they almost felt like their own thing, like they could have been like a 3-song EP almost. I loved how groovy they were, and they kind of focused more on the club dance energy. Not so much the first one, Hello Goodbye, that felt more like an interlude leading into this, but the last two just felt like these just big bangers, especially with those like crispy basses and the weird arrangements. I feel like we're not going to hear so much more like musical elements. This is just my prediction right now. We're not going to hear a lot of changes in the music. But I think for the remix album, based on what I saw, it's going to be more like of a vocal feature-y, like different perspective on the songs type of thing. We'll see. Those songs were so fire that I have to go get water, and I'm going to be right back in a pinch. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and find the remix album. Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat. We're going to start with 360 featuring Robin and Young Lean. Those are names that I haven't heard of in a long time. I had a, and probably the whole world too. I mean, I had a huge Young Lean phase back in high school. I think Young Lean has a lot of underrated songs and music. I think he has just a completely unique style. And then Robin, who doesn't know Dancing on My Own? Let's dive right in.
Wanna be like me, dress so fresh and so clean, rock with the diamonds on the sleeve, breathing in the Stockholm breeze, get with Robin on the beat.
Hey, yeah, we're rubbing on the beat.
Sweet.
Cameras flashing, hit the scene. We're Robin and Charlie. Pull up to the party. 3 white lines, put the lime in the Bacardi.
Oh my God, I love
flesh,
this.
just deep.
1994, got everybody in the club dancing on their
Got
own.
that supersonic.
I love that. That is so cool. So I loved sort of everyone trading mics right there and kind of giving their piece or kind of saying their bit. And I love that they also expressed that Robin has been making this kind of music, has been doing dance pop for like a very long time. And also there is a reference to Dancing on My Own. That is so awesome. So sweet too. I love seeing that kind of come together for all three of them. And I wasn't sure how Young Lean would like do on a beat like this, but he's killing it too.
Push up on it right in your ear. I got the supersonic starship coming right over here.
Very special language, no one understands it. 3 child stars out hits, get you feeling nostalgic.
I started so young I didn't even have email. Now my lyrics on you.
Were those, hold on, were those like, hey, little champ vocals, were those in the original or not? I'd have to go back and like re-listen to it, but let me know if they were or not, because I thought that was a nice little touch, if that's new.
Here be on my arm, your favorite pop star is into me, Young Lean and Charlie.
Yeah, we do it for our lives, cause got that supersonic push up
I
on
love
it
this.
right in your ear. I got the supersonic mansion, castle, pets, family, drinks, action.
Got that lights, camera, action. Got that
Mansion, castle, pets, family, drinks, action, lights.
I loved how that like beat really worked for all three of those artists, just swapping mics and doing their thing over it. I will be honest, when I saw Young Lean on that, I expected Robin to do fairly well because her and Charlie kind of have a similar range, but seeing Young Lean on there, I was like, how is he going to do his thing over there? And they actually gave him a lot of mic time on it. He did take up quite a bit of the track, and he flowed pretty well on it and added like a whole bunch of other hookiness to the song. Let's go into track 2, Club Classics, featuring BB Tricks. I don't know who BB Tricks is, but we're going to find out. This feels a little different. This is definitely a lot different than the Club Classics we know. Whoa, hold on. I love the vocal modulation happening there. We get a lot of like sort of spacing out, a lot of chopping. That metallic thing that you're hearing is literally the vocal samples being time stretched, like pulled and made like slower than they actually are. It's cool to hear it being kind of twisted into a new club classic. So we got all those bass house influences. Oh yeah.
When I get to the club, I wanna hit the club.
All day. All day on the way they changed up that vocal passage. They sped it up. Not quite like night chord it, like it's not like Chipmunky, but they sped it up to where it could like just act like a whole new element to this beat. Ah, it's so good.
It's like when I'm in the club, yeah, I'm bumping that. When I'm at the house, yeah, I'm bumping that. 365 party girl, bumping that. I'm at the house, yeah, I'm bumping that. 365 party girl, bumping that. 365 party girl, bumping that. Little push my hair back. When I'm bumping that, gonna jump when it drops. Back. When I'm bumping that, push my hair back. When I'm gonna jump when it drops. Back.
So I have a lot of respect for Charlie right now because so when I went into this, and especially after hearing the new version of 360 that's on here, I was like, okay, so I was kind of right. This is going to be like the same instrumentals, the same way that the vocals are laid out, but there's going to be space provided for new vocal performers, right? Because there's two kinds of remixes. There's the kind that kind of act like a feature, and then there's the kind that kind of rework the whole song. After hearing this, I think we're going to get both. I think we're going to get some songs that are more like the same song but with a vocal feature, and then some songs that are like reworks or like, yeah, like actual like remixes of songs. So a lot of respect there because that adds more to just the sort of like musical nature of doing remixes and doing remix albums. Instead of just like throwing your friends on the vocals, you can change up the instrumentals too and give people what feels like a new take on the song or a completely new reworked version. So a lot of respect there because it takes more work to do it and to coordinate that.
Baby XCX es un clásico automático. Fashion killer, aunque el outfit sea básico. Yo soy una brasa aunque no tenga nada de plástico. Bounce like
nice.
Es un fanático. Sigo siendo una princesa que paseo por el hood. Te daré una cita pero no estoy en el mood. Buddy, el club. Brat, el club. El club.
Vámonos a casa ya. No, I'll never go home.
We still got it sped up.
When I get to the club, I wanna hear this classics. When I get to the club, I wanna hear this club classics.
It's like
When I get to the club, I wanna hear this
It's gonna drop, guys. So we were all here for the Brat reaction, right? I'm assuming we were. We remember how hard the drop was in Club Classics. Why did they make it somehow even like harder? It just smacks way better on this than it does in the other one. I'm going to have to listen to them side by side later because this is just nutty. Very cool. Loved it. Let's move on to, I think now that I've had more time away from Brat, Sympathy is a Knife is my favorite CHARLI XCX song so far. So I'm seeing that it's featuring Ariana Grande. I'm always, my goal with you guys is to always be honest. I'm not that big on Ariana Grande. I always commend her for her performances and for her vocal ability. I'm just not the biggest fan of her music. I've only heard like a couple songs here and there. I'm just not, I wouldn't consider myself or label myself as a like huge fan of Ariana Grande, but I have heard some good things from her. Let's dive in and see how Ariana handles her feature on Sympathy is a Knife.
It's a knife when you know they're waiting for you to choke. It's a knife when a journalist doesn't misquote. It's a knife when a friend is suddenly stepping on your throat. It's a knife when they say that you've been doing things you don't. It's a knife when your old friends hate your new friends. When somebody says
this feels a little different.
I think you've totally changed. It's a knife when somebody says they like the old me and not the new me. And I'm like, who the fuck is she? It's a knife when you're finally on top. Cause logically the next step is they wanna see you fall to the bottom. It's a knife when you're finally on top. Cause logically the next step is they wanna see you fall. It's a knife.
I kind of like that the beat is almost completely reworked, because I think by now we would have heard those big like wall slamming bass drops that I really liked in it. And it's almost like CHARLI made this song more flush with 360 and Club Classics, like almost made it like the same style. Instead of doing her very belty, like loud vocals, she's doing the more rappy, like sort of fast paced vocals with it, which is kind of a nice change up. I kind of like it. What a, wow. Okay. I kind of like that we didn't just get the same song recorded the exact same way, just with Ariana singing some parts, at least not so far. We'll see how the rest of the song goes. But the entire chorus and the entire verse is different. It's completely reworked. It's almost like CHARLI had two versions of this song and didn't know which one to put on the album. So she went with the one we originally heard in the reaction. And now we're hearing like the B-side version or like the demo version, but reworked and like rewritten on. Oh, this is so cool.
Knife when you know they're counting on your mistakes. It's a knife when you're so pretty they think it must be fake. It's a knife when they dissect your body on the front page. It's a knife when they won't believe you. Why should you explain? It's a knife when the mean fans hate the knife.
Nice.
When somebody says sorry, I think you've totally changed. It's a knife when somebody says they like the old me and not the new me. And I'm like, who the fuck is she? Cause it's a knife when you're finally on top. Cause logically the next step is they wanna see you fall to the bottom. It's a knife when you're finally on top. Cause logically the next step is they wanna see you fall.
Very nice. I love that with the ad-libs especially, CHARLI and her producer just gave Ariana like full go ahead. Was just like, you know what, girl? Just record as many harmonies as you want, record as many background vocals as you want, have fun with it, send it to us, and we'll just throw it in there. Because it feels very creative. Feels like there's a lot of choice being made there. Like, do I want to go up 3? Do I want to go down 5? Do I want to go up here? It sounds like Ariana just had fun with it and just kind of did her thing. And I'm loving that this almost feels like Sympathy is a Knife Part 2. Like, it feels like this is like a sequel to that song. I know someone was saying that the version of Girls So Confusing featuring Lorde is kind of like that for that song. I almost feel like some of these are like sequels to the original songs on Brat, and you almost have to hear the first album, like you almost have to hear the album first before you can truly appreciate these remixes, because hearing just how different this is compared to the original one, it makes me really happy, because CHARLI could have gone the lazy route and just taken the same instrumental, not done any edits to it or any sort of change ups to it, and just thrown Ariana on the bridge and called it like a remix, you know? So this is really cool.
It's a knife one. It's a knife one. It's a knife one.
Oh, love it. Love it. Wow. Okay. Absolutely love that. I thought that was really cool. And again, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I love how much effort was put into this. Yeah, I didn't expect that. And I also didn't expect Ariana to be such a good fit for that song. I don't know why. I just wasn't really thinking that they would have such good chemistry on that song. So I love being surprised. So we're going to move on to quite an interesting set of features here. I might say something stupid, featuring the 1975 and John Hopkins, like ambient garage, future garage John Hopkins. Yeah, I listened to Immunity a lot. That was like one of my going to sleep albums. It's a really nice album, very comfortable to listen to. It actually got me into a lot more like experimental electronic music when I was in kind of like my starting music production. When I was kind of starting music production, whenever I wanted to listen to something a little different, I'd listen to a decent amount of John Hopkins. So that's interesting. It's an interesting name to see on here for sure. Along with the 1975. Let's see how all of these artists sound together, shall we?
I could say something small.
I really like the sort of like spoken word elements underneath the sung elements of that. I thought that was really kind of sweet sounding. It had just a very nice relaxing quality to it. I remember the original kind of being played on either piano or electric piano. I don't really remember, but it was one of the two. So I really like kind of having this sort of organic piano sound to it. Let's keep going.
Raw in my house in LA, thinking of giving up everything. Now I'm watching what I say. These interviews are so serious. My friend's been through this before, yeah. It happens to lots of guys. Medicine makes him a problem.
I'm famous, but I'm not quite.
Wow, I loved the sort of build up into that bass line. Oh, it just gave me goosebumps. Wow, that was so emotional and just fit for all of these artists. Even if CHARLI doesn't come in, I'm kind of glad that we're using this song or this feature of both 1975 and John Hopkins as kind of like a bridge or like an intermission into the next few set of songs. It feels just so natural having these artists work together. And I mean that from like both of a musical chemistry standpoint and also just like a sound standpoint. It feels so organic, even though it's electronically made and electronically processed. It feels like it just works so good. And I love the contrast of it compared to the songs that came before it. I just found it so pretty. It was such a nice sort of collection of musicians there. But let's go ahead and move on to the remix of Talk Talk featuring Troye Sivan. I absolutely love Troye Sivan. I was very big on them when Blue Neighborhoods came out. And I've kind of been in and out of their music since. I've recently got into a couple of their latest songs just through like clients telling me like, hey, I want to sound like Troye Sivan, or hey, here's my references for this project, and it's the song from Troye Sivan. And I really like the sort of like transitioning into hyperpop or into just different forms of electropop and dance pop that Troye Sivan has done lately. Let's see how Troy does over a CHARLI XCX song.
Hay una fiesta en mi casa. Vengan. Será muy divertido.
Are we getting too close? You're leaving things in my head.
Love it.
I'll be honest, you scare me. My life's supposed to be a party. Do you ever think about me? 'Cause we talk that talk and we talk all night. And the more I know you, the more I like you. Can you stick with me, maybe just for life? And say what's on your mind, my baby.
Talk to me in French, talk to me in Spanish, talk to me in your own.
Hold on. Was the talk to me in French, talk to me in Spanish part just in the bridge, I think, in the original, and now it's being used as like sort of a club, like sort of build up into the pop drop? I love that. So far really good. I think Troy's voice works very good with the atmosphere of this song. I didn't expect it to work as good as it's working. Let's keep going.
Made up language doesn't matter if I understand it. Talk right in my ear, tell me your secrets and fears. Once you talk to me, I'll talk to you and say, shall we go back to my place?
Okay, here's the plan. I wanna fly you out to Amsterdam. I gotta go her to fuck you and I wanna.
Ooh.
Come see me, we can pop that shit.
I was getting ready to embarrass myself and be like, talk, talk, but we're not getting that. We're getting like this club banger version of Talk Talk, which is kind of cool.
In the bed, your arms around me.
Hear those house pianos? I love that they're trading vocals, but also CHARLI's singing with them, especially on this one. I think Troy is alone on the first hook that we got here, but I also like that the beat has just been completely reworked. We have more house piano. There's more club influence. It's less melodic than the original one was. The original one was more poppy, more like ear candy, more melodic feeling. This is more like straight to the point, just forward house. You want to know what's funny, and I didn't think about this till right now. CHARLI sounded so good and in her element on Brat that I didn't even think about what CHARLI's chemistry could be like with other features or with other artists. And now it's making me hear that her voice actually works with a lot of different people and people that I wouldn't have even like thought that her voice could like mesh with.
J'ai perdu mon téléphone, mais tu sais quoi? Ça en valait la peine parce que c'était une soirée.
I love that we get like different like samples of people talking in different languages throughout the track. I love that. It's such a cool little like reference. Yeah, I thought that was great, and it sounded like both of them were very comfortable over it. Obviously, CHARLI killed it on the original as well, but it was kind of interesting to hear Troy also doing their thing over it, and they just work so good together. I loved hearing them just kind of just doing their thing over it. Let's move on to Von Dutch A.G. Cook remix featuring Addison Rae. So Addison Rae is a name that I wasn't expecting to see on here. I've only heard, I think it's Diet Pepsi. Yeah, Diet Pepsi is the only Addison Rae song that I've heard, and I only heard it for work. So if you guys want more Addison in the future, definitely down to check it out. I really like the production style of their music. Let's go ahead and dive right into Von Dutch. Von Dutch is already a banger. We're going to see if it's more of a banger on here.
I still pop every time my track drops. You're jealous, I'm just living that life. While you're sitting in your dad's basement, but you're disappointed that I'm shining. I'm just living that life.
I love that the main riff, we'll call it, synth of Von Dutch is light-hearted. It's more like light and soft.
Just wanna scream my name on and on, 'cause I'm just living that you.
I like how for the beginning part of this song, the auto-tune was very low. And now that we're getting into more of the hooky bits, it's cranked. It's like all the way up for both of them. And they harmonize very well. Again, So far, there's a lot of good picks for featured artists on this because their voices work so good with Charli's.
On and on, 'cause I'm just living that life. Made another page just to look at my pics, my type, dress in red lips. I know you want it, I'm just living that life. Linked with Addison on Melrose, bought some cute clothes and wrote this in the studio, 'cause I'm just living that life.
I love how candid that verse felt. Like, it felt like, hey, we're just hanging out and we just went and did this and then we dropped by the studio to record this. But the way that it was written, it literally all rhymes with each other and fits for the song.
Dutch cult classic, but I still pop. Always give me more views, it's kinda like a day job. Got a lot to say about my debut. About all of the things I do, I guess it makes sense, 'cause I'm just living that life.
Oh, there it is.
I'm just living that life.
So far, the beats kind of maintain the same energy. It hasn't had a big drop. So now they're kind of waiting till about like the 2/3 mark to sort of drop it down and make it more of a build up. Let's see how well it does.
I'm just living that life.
I literally thought that was someone just screaming and they just like put it into the back of the mix and let it just do its thing and put some like reverb and compressor over it to make it softer. But I think it's a synth. It's like a synth with a bunch of like wobble on it. Yeah, that's definitely what that was.
I'm just living that life. I'm just living this life.
Yeah, that was a cool take on the song. And so far what I'm liking is all of these remixes, except for 360, that I think that was the only one where the instrumental was like almost 100% the same. They're all doing something completely different to the track. So it's almost like you get two albums. Again, I'm very used to how the original sounds. So I'm not like too surprised, at least not by this one. But I did like that they made it a bit more light, almost like you could take the original of Von Dutch and just like bleed it into this and almost use this as like an elongated outro if you're performing it live. So that was really cool. Let's go to track 7. Everything is Romantic featuring Caroline Polachek. You guys have been wanting me to check out Caroline's music for a very long time. I think she has been in my polls and our discussions for a pretty long time, like pretty much since I started reacting to Lorde. And this will probably give me somewhat of an idea of what her sound is like. Again, I don't really know because this isn't one of her own songs or one of her own projects, but this is her being featured on someone else's project. Let's see how it sounds.
Again and again, fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again,
Ooh.
fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again, fall in love.
I like that they're letting that part be like the main hook.
Fall. Walk to the studio soaking wet, a cab tag on a bus stop sign.
Okay.
Catch a face in the window pane. What's up? It's me, that's mine. Sleepyhead, cause all the fucking foxes kept me awake last night.
Oh.
Charlie calls from a
What's with all these like beautiful sounding like remixes that are on here? Like we have bangers and then we have like very beautiful sounding stuff. I like the texture that Caroline's voice has, and I also really like how it's going to contrast with Charli's, because Charli is a little more higher range. Caroline seems a little more in like the alto range, which is a little deeper, but it works. And it has this sort of like, it has this nice like warm texture to it, and it works really well with the beat. I like what they did with the beat where they had it have those like sort of like drum skips, like they're kind of bouncing between the 1 and the 3 and the 4. They're like, it's a broken beat. It's kind of like a Future Garage type beat. Like it's not on the 4 on the dotted every time. It's like on the off beat sometimes, and it gives it sort of a dancey, like disgruntled sort of feel to it, a different pace. And they're just having it be like all electric piano and bass synth. Let's see what else they add to it.
hotel bed, hungover on Tokyo time.
Hey girl, what's up? How you been?
Ooh.
I think I need your advice.
It's crazy, I was just thinking of you was on your mind.
I'm trying to shut off my brain. I'm thinking about work all the time.
It's like you're living the dream and not living your life.
Oh, wow. It's like you're living the dream, but not living your life. Woo! That's a good lyric. I'm a big sucker for them. You might know them a lot from like top 40 EDM, like Chainsmokers. But it's a very popular instrument. This is a very thin one. They're keeping the beat very quiet, very thin. So it makes me wonder, is Caroline's style more quiet? You know what I mean? Like, do they do more like quiet pop instead of like louder pop? Is that where they're kind of making this a little more dull down, a little more dim, a little more relaxing? Maybe. I don't know. Let's keep going.
You would relate. I feel smothered by logistics. Need my fingerprints on everything, trying to feed my relationship. Am I in a slump? Am I paying back time? Did I lose my perspective? Everything's still romantic, right?
Late nights in black silk in East London. Church bells in the distance. Free bleeding in the autumn rain. Fall in love again and again. Late nights in black silk in East London. Church bells in the distance. Free bleeding in the autumn rain.
Fall in love again and again.
Fall.
Ooh. I loved having those rain samples come in. And like, it's like very like low key, right? Like it starts off just as little white noise and then it goes before the next part. Very cool, very creative. And I love that they've almost, like with the other ones, they've transformed this into a completely different song.
Fall in love. Fall in love again.
I love the vocal ability right there, being able to just go up and down the scale like that. Oh, that's so nice. I love hearing that be done by a vocal instead of an instrument for once, because I'm so used to the instrument sort of taking over in that sort of regard. But it's so nice to hear a vocalist just feel comfortable just going up and down a scale, even if it's just one octave range. It doesn't have to be that flashy. It doesn't have to be that awesome with like, you know, you're going up like 5 or 6 or 7 intervals at a time or anything like that. It can just be like one interval at a time. But if it's done smoothly enough, it just sounds so nice to the ears.
Fall in love again and again. 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 Fall in love again and again.
Romantic.
Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in
Wow.
love again and again.
Romantic.
Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again.
Hold on. What was that? So it sounds like to me, hold on. It sounds like to me we just heard some very operatic singing and some very like wide open vocals from Caroline. And then they were like hyper popped. They were like cut and like manually like pitched up and down. That was a really, really cool and unique sounding effect. I could listen to that like over and over again because of how cool that sounded. Definitely setting the bar high for Caroline's own music. Makes me definitely want to check that out very soon. I know you guys want me to check it out very soon. Wow, that was really cool. Yeah, wow.
Church bells in the distance, bleeding in the autumn rain. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again. Fall in love again and again.
It sounds so natural. I almost want to say it's not being manually pitch shifted. I'm so used to it being like manually pitch shifted when someone sounds like that. I almost want to say it's like a yodel, or it's like, like when you're, I think it's called a glottis, when your glottis sort of like chokes a note and then you go higher in pitch. Like, I'm not going to do it and embarrass myself. I'm not a singer, but I'm sure you can find other singers that do it too. I'm sure we'll hear it when we check out Caroline's other music, but I'm just absolutely obsessing over that vocal technique. I think that is so cool. Yeah.
Church bells in the distance, bleeding in the autumn rain. Fall in love again and again. Late nights in black silk in East London. Church bells in the
It's so
distance,
cool.
autumn rain. Fall smell romantic like £6 wine. Dark in the park, Celtic graves, girl throws out from the back.
Wow, can we talk about just that vocal performance? No wonder you guys want me to check it out. I should just learn to trust you guys at this point. Yeah, that was great. Let's give that a rest and let's go on to the Rewind remix, which is featuring Blade. I love Blade. Everything I've heard Blade on is great. I don't think I've ever heard a Blade song or a Blade like feature that has been bad. I think Blade is fantastic. I love the way that they mix hyperpop with like plug and B and trap and like all kinds of other different genres that I can't even list right here. Blade is a very versatile artist, very underrated. Let's go ahead and dive in. It makes me so happy to see Blade on here. Let's go. That the rhythm right there of that vocal thing almost has the bumping that, bumping that, bumping that thing to it. Just rewind. No, okay.
Sometimes I just wanna rewind. I just wanna rewind. I just wanna rewind. Maybe I need a reality check. Sometimes no, I just gotta say less. Gone so well, drew lines on my chest. When I look in the mirror, I don't see no reflect. All this money makes me competitive. Gotta get more, living all excess.
I must confess I'm under stress.
Turn back the time again.
I must confess I'm under stress. I'm under pressure in my head. I'm 6 feet underneath myself. I'm trying to catch up with my...
Wow. Okay, so instead of just like boom, bump, boom, 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 instead of that faster pace, we kind of reverted the beat down to like a slower, sluggish, like, oh, just lugging this beat over my shoulder kind of feeling, just for Blade. And I think that it just works.
Even with everything on deck, I'm only thinking.
Sometimes I wanna wake up dead.
I must confess I'm under stress.
Turn back the time again.
I'm in the hills, perfectly still. The sun is setting in my will. My mind is split, I'm like the bills. I pay for everything, my soul. I care for everything I feel. 360, find a way to deal. The shadow spreads across the field.
I feel like the way that Blade is integrated into this track just makes it so hypnotic, because you have Charlie coming in for like little brief moments, little brief melodic hooks, and then you just have him going, I'm under stress, but dun. Oh man. And I kind of like that. Again, contrast. Okay, now we're getting uppity. We got little laser synths coming in. It's like the vocals fall out of tune, but like on purpose. Like the modulation that they're doing for them is like making them sort of fall off kilter or fall off a pitch in a very tasteful way. I kind of like that. Little vocal chops underneath. That was a really cool feature to have on there. I didn't even think about how they could change up Rewind, but I guess slowing down the beat and then transitioning it into the sort of more uppity thing that we're used to was kind of cool. And it was cool to hear Blade kind of in his element, but also complimenting a Charlie song as well. So well done. I really like that. I like some of the new noises they had in there too, like the little vocal chops, unless those were in Rewind. I'm not really remembering right off the top of my head, but also the little laser synths and sort of the detune sort of modulation thing. That was all new. So again, another rework. Let's go on to the I'm going to try not to cry. I know it's okay to cry. I'm going to try not to cry. The So I remix featuring A.G. Cook. I'm trying to think how they're going to change this up. Let's just find out. Ooh. Got like a little like flute noise back there. Feels kind of random, but okay. This is one of those decisions where, like, just me personally, I get it. Like, I get the like trying to like put different sounds in it, but it just feels a little strange. I don't know. Maybe it's doing that on purpose. I don't really know. It's just kind of weird.
Now I wanna think about all the good times. First met on the outskirts of Stockholm, all your things in a black suitcase. First day made room in the basement. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Head bob hard with your arm up, dancing, hot pink jacket on, music turned up, dance that track, take it straight to the party. Now I wanna think about all the good times. First time I ever felt alive on stage in Texas in matching latex. That's as cool as I'm ever gonna feel.
So, a couple things. I believe you guys told me that this song is a tribute to Sophie after Sophie had tragically passed away. And I do want to react to some of Sophie's music. But I do believe, based on what you guys told me, that Sophie and Charlie were really good friends. And it makes me very, very, very sad to hear even the original version of So I. But I think now this is kind of Charlie's way of like mourning through making music again. And that's why she's saying things like, I only want to think about the good times, or she's sort of giving us some sort of like history or some sort of context about certain situations or certain things. And I kind of like that. At least that's what's being translated to me through just hearing this. But I really, really like so far that it is a contrast. We're kind of on like sort of like a club beat instead of just a sad, lots of synthesizers and droney like piano bits. So let's keep going.
Now I wanna think about all the good times. Me and Neji on Mulholland, crazy Uber, straight from a video shoot. Got a birthday cake on the way. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Best night ever in Arco Santi. So many friends right there in the audience. When I look back, what the fuck was I wearing? Now I wanna think about all the good times. One big smile, crack the whole world open. Sipping green juice, looking so chic, soft response while you play with the tension. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Like when we took BB down to Bubbles, took her shoes off, ran around barefoot, played that song we made that day. Now I wanna think about all the good times. DJ sat back to back with Twiggy. She was nervous, you were so nice, said you had the best time with her. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Me and Nini crying to your songs, no songs ever made us feel that much. Can't explain cause it's just too much. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Talking on Zoom in 2020, red hair brushed out, sat back home. Lyrics back and forth on text. Now I wanna think about all the good times. Like the first time I heard your music, my ex-boyfriend played your sound. At that moment really changed my life.
Oh, sweet. How awesome is that? I'm not even able to focus too much on the production elements because I'm like kind of hooked in by the lyrics, and I kind of like it because like I feel like for people on the outside, like I feel like myself, because I haven't really been a part of like the CHARLI XCX like fan base, or I don't really know a whole lot about her world until I heard Brat. So knowing that information from you guys and hearing some of these lyrics in context kind of makes me feel like I'm kind of being caught up on like the history between these artists. And yeah, it's sad, but it's also, it feels, this remix feels a bit more like a celebration more than it does like about mourning. Does that make any sense? Like it feels more like, hey, let's celebrate this life more than think about, you know, the things that aren't good. Think about the sort of bad or more tragic things. Okay. I'm going to put this just in the edit really quick. Had a bit of an issue. Let's go ahead and keep rolling with this. Gave the song a bit more hype, but also just had sort of Charlie's like rapped vocals giving a bit more lyrical context to the song's initial meaning or what the song was originally written about. I'm assuming the bombastic sampling that happened towards the end there is kind of in a way a tribute to Sophie. I haven't really listened to a lot of Sophie's music. Have some samples from the Sophie sample pack that I use for production. So based on what I've heard in those samples, I can only assume that was kind of a bit of a tribute there, just with the way that the samples sort of like ping pong off of everything. And you have sort of the like very dissonant, very tinny sort of like hyper pop samples just clashing in with the rest of it leading out. That was a pretty cool tribute. I really like that. I thought it was cool that it also even gave So I a bit of contrast leading into what we're going to hear next, which I'm really excited for. Girl So Confusing featuring Lorde. Let's see how these two artists harmonize together or work together on this track.
It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl.
I still love that.
How do you feel being a girl? How do you feel being a girl? And I don't know, I'm just a girl.
All right, let's kill it.
Yeah, I don't know if you like me. Sometimes I think you might hate me. Sometimes I think I might hate you. Maybe you just wanna be me. You always say let's go out, so we go eat at a restaurant. Sometimes it feels a bit awkward cause we don't have much in common. People say we're alike, they say we've got the same hair. We talk about making music, but I don't know if it's honest. Can't tell if you wanna see me falling over and failing, and you can't tell what you're feeling. I think I know how you feel. It's so good.
So far, hold on. So far, this sounds like the same song. This is the only one, next to a little bit of 360, but this is the only one that sounds like it's pretty much the same song so far. Like, you could put them side by side and there might be a couple minor differences, but let's see what happens next.
Feels in sometimes to be a girl, girl. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl, girl. How do you feel being a girl? How do you feel being a girl?
That harmony was different.
And I don't know, I'm just a girl. Well, honestly, I was speechless when I woke up to your voice. Now you told me how you'd been feeling. Let's work it out on the remix. You'd always say let's go out, but then I'd cancel.
Okay.
last minute. I was so lost in my head and scared to be in the pictures. 'Cause for the last couple years, I've been a bore in my body. I tried to starve myself thinner, and then I gained all the way back. I was trapped in the hatred, and your life seemed so awesome. I never thought for a second my voice was in your head. Girl, you walk like a bitch. When I was 10, someone said that, and it's just self-defense until you're building a weapon. She believed my protection, and now I totally get it. Forgot that inside that icon, there's still a young girl from Essex. People say we're alike, they say we've got the same hair. It's you and me on the coin. The industry loves to spend, and when we put this to bed, the internet will go crazy.
That was so cool. I totally love that they just took their beef and squashed it on this song. Like you guys were saying, I mean, again, I wasn't really a part of the whole like drama when it was happening. I don't know who said what, who did what type of thing, but I love seeing people apologize and sort of come together and be like, hey, you messed up, I messed up. Let's just get this out in the air and sort of settle it. Very cool to do it on the same song. I'm glad that Lord was cool enough to want to do a remix project like this and a feature like this. I kind of got lost in the lyrics there because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I mean, the instrumental sounds the same. What I've noticed is the songs that do sound the same that aren't like full-blown reworks or reproductions, there's like a reason why they're like that. Like, they're not just like that to be the same song, if that makes any sense. They're there to sort of be the same song for a reason. Like, for this, we kind of need it to be the same song in order for Lord's flow to kind of be a callback to what Charli was saying in the original song. So I did really like some of the harmonic lead ups, just kind of bringing Lord in here. And she really does stand out in this verse and this chorus. And yeah, this genuinely feels like we're hearing a conversation between them, but via a remix. Super cool. Super cool.
Crazy, I'm glad I know how you feel, 'cause I ride for you, Charli. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl.
Now that there's resolution in like the lyrical, in terms of like lyrical context, we're now hearing all the like effects and like all the big instruments start coming into the fold here towards the end.
Girl. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl. Girl. How do you feel being a girl? How do you feel being a girl? And I don't know, I'm just a girl. You know I write for you too.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites so far. Definitely cool. Loved the beef squashing there. Totally cool. Yeah, you guys really hyped that remix up, and I'm glad you did, because it feels like a very strong resolution, not just from a lyrical context, but also just having both of them on a song just feels like we've come full circle. Let's dive into Apple featuring The Japanese House. I don't know who The Japanese House is, so we're just going to find out. I've listened to Apple probably the most next to Sympathy Is a Knife, and Von Dutch and Talk Talk. So, and back to back. I mean, I've listened to this whole album a couple of times, but I've listened to Apple a lot. Let's hear how The Japanese House changes it or brings something new to the table.
I've been looking at you so long now, I only see me. I've been looking at you so long now, I only see me. I've been looking at you so long now, I only see me.
This kind of reminds me, just the way that the voice is being chopped right here and cut. It kind of reminds me of like when, I don't know, when people make memes of songs or whatever, and they take like the one funny part or like the end part of the lyric and just repeat it over and over and over again over the song. That's kind of that's kind of the vibe this intro has given me so far.
I've been looking at you so long now, I only see me. I wanna know where you go when you're feeling alone. When you're feeling alone, do you only see me? I wanna know where you go when you're feeling alone. When you're feeling
Nice soulful vocals.
alone, do you only see me? When you made me, you made me so sad, so sad. And you made me, you making me so sad, so sad. And I'm living in another country, got another girlfriend that you never met.
Ooh.
I ignore you when I see you calling, 'cause I know here's something I might regret.
I love the amount of hooks that are being added here. So it seems like we've completely taken out every catchy part of Apple and just added like a whole bunch of new ones to it. It feels like a new song just over similar parts of the original instrumental. I'll take back what I said. We're taking some parts of Apple and implementing them into these new hooks.
When you made me, you made me so sad, so sad. And you made me, you making me so sad.
That part is so catchy, just hearing like the lower like vocal lines, and then I wanna know, I wanna know, I wanna know, just descending like from this higher part. It's so good. It's so good.
Somebody asked me how you doing all the time.
Oh, nice.
When you
I don't know if you guys heard that, but there was like a reversed guitar or something, just very lightly coming into the mix, and then it just disappeared. Very nice example of ear candy. Always a sucker for that, and I love that there's a new piece of instrumentation. There's a couple in here. There's a couple of different ways that they change up Apple, but I love hearing just little noises that weren't in the original, and I know that they weren't, and that would be one of them.
make me so sad, so sad.
Charlie does this thing. It's a little unique where it's not rapping. It's also not spoken word, but it's not melodic. It's just like a vocalization. It's like a club vocal type of thing. She'll go from that to belting to crooning and then back to this like talk singy thing where it's as if she's like talking to the listener. And it's cool. It's cool. I like it. It's different. Because again, like I said, it's not like in your face. It's also like it's she does it quite a bit on Girl So Confusing and a couple of other songs here on Brat. But what I'm really liking about it is it feels personal, but it also feels like it can fit in a club atmosphere. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like it works. It's a vocal style that's very fluid. It can work for a lot of different things. I love that ending right there with the drive, drive, drive being used as like a sample. Yeah, that was neat. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from it, but at the same time, they did really flip the song around and make it pretty much a completely different song. I mean, it's like what the remix album says, Brat, and it's completely different, but it's also Brat. So like they're keeping the aesthetic the same, they're keeping the general vibe the same. But yeah, no, it's cool. I liked it. Let's go on to Back to Back featuring Tanash. I've seen, and forgive me, is it Tanashi? I've seen this artist before. I don't know who they are. I've seen the name. I've seen the songs blowing up in all kinds of places on the internet. Never checked it out. I'm aware of this artist. I've seen who they are. I've seen their songs in circulation. Never checked them out. Literally, I know nothing about this artist, but I'm about to listen to them on a remix of Back to Back, which is another favorite of mine from this album. Let's keep going. That's new. Very different. Aww. I was waiting for the to you vocal right after that. I kind of like it though. Okay, I kind of like that. They're having, I want to say that's Tanash's vocals coming in. I love hearing it sort of chop and do a different rhythm right under Charlie's. Totally cool. Tinashe. It's Tinashe. I love the flow that they're bringing to this song and giving it a more like wavy sort of R&B, moody sort of style. It's still dance pop primarily, but it's become more smooth and more like it's a different aesthetic. It fits it very good, and I like that the hook is different. I was expecting it to stay the same, but I'm kind of glad it's not. Like it's shaken up a bunch, and I like that. The beat itself was different because if you remember the original back-to-back beat, I was like, oh, this sounds like very video game soundtracky, very bass, has a lot of like punch to it. This was very smooth. So again, contrast. This was a really, really, really direct contrast than what we originally heard on back-to-back. And I like that. I feel like Charlie is also sort of curating these remixes to further fit the artists picking for the remixes. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, I don't really know Tinashe's music, but what I'm gathering from this is since they went so well on it, Charlie's not only showing, hey, this is how I can get features on my songs a bit easier. She's also showing this is another sound set I can do for pretty much the same song's meaning and aesthetic, which is kind of genius because normally you want to always have a direct correlation to the song that you're remixing, and there are direct correlations with some of the instruments, but also the overall vibe of it changes, but the meaning doesn't. So Charlie is picking and choosing what goes into the remix that is going to sound similar and then what isn't. Does that make any sense? It makes sense to me, kind of. Let's keep going. We got Mean Girls featuring Julian Casablancas. Julian is the front man of The Strokes, I believe. I could be wrong. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I believe he is the singer of The Strokes. And over the years, he's had a lot of sort of solo projects as himself. He's been featured on songs that I've seen before. Most notably, there's actually a song from Daft Punk that I really like that's featuring Julian. And I want to see how he carries his weight on Mean Girls. Let's keep going. We get that ragtime piano first thing. It's like Charlie knows that totally threw me off when we were first listening to this song. And now it's going to be like the main instrument. But it might work for Julian's parts. Let's find out. Oh, yeah.
I played this game before.
Nice.
Fighting for a hopeless cause.
Okay, guys, I have a question. So I'm looking ahead at the track list here, and I'm seeing that there's literally a remix or a redone version for literally every song except for Hello Goodbye. Can someone explain to me why that is?
This one for the ones that left, one for the abandoned.
What is this? This song is reminding me, so the vocal interval that he's singing right there, old song, it sounds like an 80s or a 90s song. I know this is totally irrelevant, but hang tight because yeah. So there's a song by the band Yes called "Owner of a Lonely Heart," and the way that Julian's singing that, it sounds like what's called an interpolation of it. So what an interpolation is it's when an artist or a singer or a producer, when any musician sits down to make a song and they do something that directly nods to another song, either with the same melody or a similar lyric. But the is totally an interpolation of that. Again, I could be wrong, and it could just be coincidence that he is singing it in this fashion, but it literally sounds like an interpolation, and if that is, that's cool. I've heard that song a bunch, but I never knew who did it, so you learn something new every day. Thanks, Julian. Ooh, I love that. I love that we're keeping the chorus of Mean Girls, but we're also just having like the in-between sections just be this electronic pop, indie rock, garage rock sort of thing. Mix we're about to hear, I think about it all the time, featuring none other than Bon Iver, or it's probably just Justin Vernon, but let's go check it out. I like these like samples in the background.
Why do you search your heart?
Ooh.
Do you choose to mourn?
I'm gonna kind of go off on like just a mini tangent, just a little tangent. I've always loved Bon Iver's diversity and versatility as an artist. I love that he isn't like afraid to work on a song that is sort of like new or like outside of his typical experimental folk pop, alternative sort of like spectrum of music. I've always loved that he's just versatile and likes to work on things and will kind of make songs his own that he's working on. I can already tell just within like 25 seconds of this that he's definitely just doing his thing on this. It just comes natural to him, and I love seeing that happen with artists.
Fix up for customs, the signals make motion. You're lonely and you're asking, when did it get so hard?
Yeah.
When did it get so high? When did it get so high? When did it get so high? When did it?
Yeah. First off, you're bound to the album.
I love those samples. Like they sang the "When Did It Get So Hard" and then pitched it up by like a bunch, by like 12 semitones. So probably an octave, you know, and then just cut it up and then played it on the sampler pad. So cool.
Then you're locked into the promo. Next thing, 3 years have gone by. Me and George sit down and try
nice.
to plan for our future. But there's so much guilt involved when we stop working. Because you're not supposed to stop when things start working. No.
I found love, baby. But
Nice.
I get to run out of time. I think about it all the time. Was
Nice. I love that before we go back into the chorus or the main hook of I Think About It All the Time, Charlie lets out this like soulful kind of performance, and it really even shows her versatility as an artist right next to his. And there's something to be celebrated about that, because I feel like it'd be very easy to just throw him in here, sample up his parts, turn it into another club banger, but we're kind of staying tried and true to the original song's mood here, just making it a little less helter-skelter with like a little like less drums and just making it more of a calm mood. And Charlie's also doing stuff that's a little outside of her sort of normal range, which I really like, and she's doing it very well.
confused with all this real.
And now we're going into multi-layered vocals. So the performance we heard before might have been doubled, but I'm going to go with it was probably just one layer with a couple of effects on it. Not even that. It was very minimal on the effects. And now we're hearing everything just very nice, nicely layered. It has a lot of layers to it, actually, but they're mixed very quietly so that it just sounds like one big voice. And that's a pretty interesting take to have in this part of this song. If you were to ask me, how well do you think CHARLI XCX and Bon Iver sound on a track together, I would be like, probably not very good, because they are completely different styles of artistry. Like, they do just completely different things. They harmonize pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm exactly the same, but I'm older now, and I got even more stress on my body. So we had a conversation on the way home. Should I stop my birth control? Because my career still feels small in the existential scheme of it all.
Wow, that's deep. Oh, I know there's like a big musical moment happening, but let's just appreciate how deep that line is. Yeah, I don't even think there's much I really have to say about it. Wow. Aren't we all? I love, okay, do you hear that in the background? It's almost like they cut up one vocal sample, like a one shot, played it on the keyboard, and they're playing the same melody that is like the hook, I think about it all the time. They're playing it on like the keyboard. Either that or they're just singing it very low and processing it, but I almost want to say it's being played on an instrument or on a sampler. Genius.
I think about it all the time. I'm scared to run out of time.
Oh. I love the little synth coming in at the end too. That was really, really cool. Again, it's not just because Bon Iver is on it. I think just the fusion of these two artists, and they're doing something really special with this song. What's funny is I think about it all the time was good, but if I had to come up with a list of like just songs that weren't really my favorite off of Brat when I first heard it, it would have been on that list. And again, that doesn't mean that it's a bad song. It just means that I would probably come to it the least out of the entire list of bangers and awesome ballads that were on that album. They're both good. I think both versions are good. I just think that this kind of completed it a bit. It completed the storyline. You get what I'm saying? Let's keep going to 365 featuring Shy Girl. Already upping the ante on the production. Ooh. Loving the pitch bend. Oh, that absolutely goes hard. I love the pitch bend on the bass, as well as just that monstrous like vocal chopping back there. Just stunning decisions. Remember how at the beginning we were talking about just face frying bass? That is what's happening here again. This almost sounds like a pop take on like hardstyle or hard techno. 100%. It sounds like it's trying to be a gabber kick, and I'll explain what a gabber kick is right here below. It's a staple sound in the two subgenres of EDM that I just mentioned. That sounds like that's what's happening there. Just this low, monstrous kick.
I'm loving that. When I'm at the house, yeah, I'm loving that. 365 party girl, loving that. Should we do a little key? Should we have a little line? Wanna go real wild when I'm loving that. Meet me in the bathroom if you're loving that. 365 party girl, loving that.
365 party girl. Gonna
Too hot when I sweat, just lick me. Touch and squeeze when the baseline hits me. Are you gonna ride me harder than the BPM beat match beat? Yeah, I'm loving that. Can't see straight, yeah, I love it when the pill hits back. And the booth bitch gets this VIP, but it don't stop.
I love the vocal processing right there. When the beat cut, they put like a deep version of Shy Girl's voice under it and just threw a massive distortion on it, but like made it quiet enough so we wouldn't hear the distortion.
Till I reach, come find me.
party girl, party girl. Push my hair back, look hot when I'm looking at. No, I really don't stop when I'm looking at. Gonna jump when it drops when I'm looking at. Down 999, it's a good
So
time.
here's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna pause it. We're gonna have this go right into Guess featuring Billie Eilish, which seems like kind of a strange feature to have on that song, but we're just gonna go right into it.
Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that. No one wanna hear my track, are you bumping that? Till the windows crack, I'll be having that. No one ever go home, don't sleep, don't. 365 party girl. 365 party girl. 365 party girl. 365 party girl. 365.
It's gonna build up and it's gonna be monstrous right at the end. This feels like the Von Dutch bass. Oh, and it just cut right before it.
You wanna guess the color of my underwear? You wanna know what I got going on down there? Is it pretty in pink or all see-through? Is it showing off my brand new lower back tattoo? You wanna put them in your mouth, pull them all down south. You wanna turn this shit out, that's what I'm talking about. Put them in your mouth, pull them all down south. You wanna turn this shit out, that's what I'm talking about.
Symbolism is a lyrical device. All right? It is.
Try it, lick it, spit it, pull it to the side and get all up in it.
I wanna try it, bite it, lick it, spit it, pull it to the side and get all up in it. Kiss it, bite it, can I fit it? Charlie likes boys, but she knows I'd hit it.
About that was a feature. That was yeah, it was all right. Yeah, I mean, like, they didn't really do anything to rework the beat from what we heard earlier when we first listened to the original version of Guess, but I mean, that is CHARLI XCX Guess with Billie Eilish on it. Nothing was really done to it to make it like super special or super different from the original, which not all remixes have to, like we were talking about earlier. Some remixes just have a feature on it. And that's what they delivered. Let's move on to Spring Breakers featuring Kesha. God, the last time I listened to Kesha was like middle school or high school. Actually, that's a lie. I had a job recently that wanted me to reference some Kesha songs on it. Let's go ahead and jam it.
Hi, it's me, you're all in danger.
There's that thing we were talking about earlier.
Got my finger on the detonator.
These bitches rip off, wish they could be OG, they not. We going psycho, we going off. Yeah, me and Charlie, we the party girl gods. Oh, party girl gods. I'll go psycho, I'ma go kill it.
Hi, it's me, you're all in danger. Never getting fussy cause I'm such a hater. Got my finger on the detonator. Crazy girl shit, gonna go Spring Breakers. Every time I make it so outrageous, always gonna listen to people playing.
As for my overall thoughts, I really liked this remix album. I also like the deluxe tracks, like, on their own. I will say what they did with the, like, just that, like, collectively on the Guess and Spring Breakers version with the feature. I don't know. Like, personally, just to me, it didn't feel like it was too special because nothing was really done. Like, there was space made for sure for the artists that they were featuring on it, but it didn't really feel like any special moments, at least not to me. And it was okay. And again, not everything has to be a shining star, right? Not everything has to be like a awesome like take on something. But I really liked some of the ways that they used other artists that you wouldn't really think would fit on a song, and they just almost completely transformed the song in a way. And I also really like some of the risks that were taken on these remixes, and it kind of felt free form because like the songs were like already hits, they were already made, they were already on the original version of Brat, so why not make some more experimental versions? But for what it was, I mean, this did really surprise me in a lot of different respects. Not just like, I was honestly expecting, okay, even take the Von Dutch remix, I was expecting it to literally just be Charlie and Addison just singing on like the Von Dutch instrumental, just kind of like what the 360 one was, and that was even really good, just having two new artists on it. It felt very refreshing. But to hear so much experimentation on it, it kind of reminded me of just some remix albums that I've heard in the past that felt more like entire reworks than just like a remix album just to make a remix album. Usually remix albums are just made to like hit the club or to make your songs feel like they can be danceable, you know? So I like when there's an actual artistic sort of production heavy emphasis on certain things, and songwriter driven emphasis, like what we heard on the Mean Girls remix and what we also heard on I Think About It All the Time, and I Might Say Something Stupid. Same with So I mean, Charlie just completely made a whole new song pretty much, just kind of sort of building off of the foundation of the original melodies. And yeah, so I was pretty impressed with a lot of these. I just wish it had kind of a better closer, and I get it. I think having Billie Eilish on Guess is kind of a big deal because Billie is just a huge artist, and I think that it does a lot bringing those two fan bases together for sure. But I will admit that the Kesha feature kind of left me feeling just a little underwhelmed, and that's just my personal taste. None of these were bad necessarily. I wouldn't say any of these were bad. I would say they were all pretty good, and they kind of built up on the sort of Brat sound a little bit, so it kind of gives us more to jam. What's not to love about that? Thank you guys for watching this. I definitely want to check out, I want to check out Caroline's music, especially after hearing her on Everything Is Romantic. I'm definitely looking forward to starting some other musically driven journeys with you guys. And most importantly, thank you all for your time and have a good rest of your day.